I'm going to show you how to make buttons in Flash. The I'll see some examples on here. These are buttons that you can make yourself. There are some predefined ones you can use also. Basically, they're boxes with text inside it. And but if you play inside the presentation, you can set it up so that when the mouse moves over them, they change color, and when they're pressed, they'll change the way they look as well. And these buttons can also be timed up to specific actions, so that you can, for example, move from one scene to another. First, just show you how to create the buttons. Okay, so start with a blank canvas. To start inserting a button, first you need to go to up here, Insert New Symbol. There are different types of symbols you can have. We're going to have a button type, so create that. Okay, and press OK. And you see it's actually now instead of being inside the first scene, you're actually inside what's called the home button. Right, so a symbol is like a special type of asset inside Flash that can be used and reused in several times in your presentation. So it appears in the library, and you can, with the button, for example, you might want to use it on more than one screen. So you just drag it onto the screen and use it in that position. So what we're going to do first is create the button, and then we can use it in several places. A button is also like a mini movie that runs inside its own timeline. See here, it has four different things appeared on the timeline: up, over, down, and hit. These are the four different states of the button. If you haven't pressed it, over is when the mouse moves over it, down when they press it, and hit is the area that you can actually press on. What we're going to do is to show you how you can use these four states to make the button appear differently depending on whether it's been pressed or not. And basically the button is just going to be a box with some text in it. We're going to have separate layers for the text in the box though. So first I'm going to rename the layer 1 box. And I'm also going to create a layer on top of it so insert layer, therefore the text. Like that. Okay, so you've got the text in the box layer. Make sure I insert the box layer now, and I'm going to draw the box for it. This is the tool used to create the boxes. So click on that. So using this tool, rectangle tool, I'm going to draw a box there. I click on this thing's stroke color to decide what the color of the actual line around the box is going to be. At the moment it's blue, but I'll make it black. And this can be white or grey, the actual fill inside. Let's make it light grey like that. So go over there, see that, and go to this cross in the corner, which is where the top left of your box should be, and just draw a box like that. Okay, and the properties determines, for example, how big the stroke is, how big which is like the thickness of the line and so on. If you want to change any of that, go up here to select, and then, for example, I want to change the stroke to be something bigger, so I'll make it like that, or I can make it thinner like that. Make it something like 2, so that's your box. That's the basic box then for the button. And make sure the box layer is selected when you enter it. Then to put the over state of the button in. Again, I go to the over frame and press F6 for the keyframe. And now see, I've got this one selected. That's the over. So what I do now, I have to change it so that it's a different shade of grey. So what I'm going to do is to change the fill color here to be something different, like when someone presses it, maybe it should be a bit lighter. So I'll make it, when someone goes over it, it'll go white. And then for down, when I go down, I'm make it a darker grey when it does that. So again I press F6, and now see I've got this one selected. So again select the whole thing and select the fill. Now it's going to be darker. And finally I've got to put something in the hid thing. I don't need to change anything of that. Now I'm going to add the text to this, to the button. The way I'm going to do that is by into the text layer, but instead of having different keyframes, it's just going to have a set of normal frames. So I'm just going to go to the here, so it's the same length as the box layer, and add F5. So we've just got one layer there. Then I'm just going to add in the text. So make sure the text layer is selected. Go up here, text, and then just type in home. And if that's not big enough, I think that's not the right, quite as big as you want, then change this over here to be maybe what, 24, something like that. And then if again it's not the right color, select it, and then maybe I want it to be black. So you'd set the color, the font color in here, so black like that, and then just move it around so it's in the right place. So now you've got the home button. Now you've edited the button, go back to the whole scene, so click on scene 1, and you see that now everything's blank. But if you go over to the library, you see your buttons there, and that's where your button is. So just to see what it's like, let's get it and drag it over and drop it onto the stage. So that's your home button now. I'll just let's just run the movie to see what it looks like. Should come up in a moment. Here we go. So there's your home button. If you move over it, then you see that this is the over state. So that's when the button will change when you move over it. If you click on it, then it will actually, again, it changes color. At the moment it doesn't actually do it, not detected or anything, but that's the way you set up a button to be used for collecting the different screens and so on. Okay, so you've got the home button now. What if you want another button? You might think, okay, let's drag another copy over it and start editing it. If you do that, you soon find that's not something you really should do, because basically all copies, everything that's taken from the library, if you change it, you change all the examples of it that are actually on the screen. So if you see here, you've got the two home buttons. If I click on one of them, I have to say, okay, I'm going to edit this one. So double click on it, and then I'm going to change the text. So I change this maybe to be video, because I want to make a video button. As soon as I do that, oops, as soon as I do that and click off again, then they both of them will change, because all the whatever change happens to the button in the library, all the examples of that button you've dragged onto the screen will change as well. So you can't do that. Let's Control Z out of it. Back here. So what you need to do is to make another copy of the button. So right click on it, press duplicate, and then call this video button this time. There you go. Now drag the video button over and then edit it. Double click on it. And then just change the text here to video. This is the advantage of just having the text in a different layer. So you can just change. Otherwise, if each text was had a piece of text in each keyframe, you'd have to go to each keyframe and change the text. But here you just have to change the text in one place. Okay. So now you have a video button as well. And basically the idea is that you create a number of buttons in the library, and then you can just drag them on each screen that you need them. And obviously at the moment, so just play it again to see how they work. It's got the two home buttons there, and also the video button. It's got the same behavior. Right, so that shows you how to create the buttons, and we'll look later at how you actually tie up the buttons till they can be used in different scenes.